Hello gamers and welcome to some more preview content for the upcoming Nemesis 5 DLC Southern Flank. And we are going to cover the second Motostřelecká Divize. This time a Czech division, it's the fourth Czech division, second motorized division, and in the WARNO timeline they fight in southern Germany. So it's like an OT-64 division, so we'll see a bit of that. And let's look at the slots first. Decent logistics slots, very, very cheap infantry slots, very decent artillery slots, I'd say. Tank tab is a bit tight with regards to slots. Recon is more generous. AA should be workable. Helicopters, not so much to write home about, and then a very limited air tab. So let's go through the units, and I will cover the division soon in my Playing Every Division series as well. So I will do the deck building and the battle and so on in my Playing Every Division series, which is in a separate playlist. So check that out. My aim is to play like every division in WARNO and show you the division, or build a deck, show you a battle, and then review the battle and adjust the division. In ranked games, that is. So here we get a truck, and this is the T805, which is a new truck. It's only 600 supply, 25 points is quite cheap though, so it's an interesting option possibly. Here you get 750, 5 points more. The T815 already known, gives you 3000 supply, that's good for your artillery. Command options are the OT62R4MT, already known, and the BVP 1K, also already known. Another option is the MI19, already known, and the VZOT 64. And you get a field supply point as well. So what to take here with regards to the command vehicles. Personally, I enjoy having 3 leaders on the card, so I think this would be my choice. It's same speed, 30 points more, but you also get 1 more on the card. You get a tank gun, you get an AT missile, so it can stand up for itself. And this 100 points. The Chaika gets like 3 on the card, but it's with unarmed. This one is armed, but I would not go for this. I would go for this, and then 2 or 3 trucks, depending on your build-up or field supply point in 10v10. Infantry tab. Let me scroll through my notes as well. So you get machine guns, which will be a bit nerfed in the upcoming patch. And it's medium machine gun. And you get the grenade launcher. You do get the TIE, and they can come also in the military police vehicle, so that's worthwhile taking. It's only a little bit slower on the road, but much better, because you can use that to buff your units as well. You get the Bezpenosici Odil security troops with according weapons and a security trade. I mean, that's good to sprinkle them about. The optics goes up to good if they are stationary, so could be an interesting unit for this division. Then you get the Pancherovnici, not a new unit, it's like basically a tank destroyer unit with 2 anti-tank rocket launchers, so that's quite nice actually, and they can come in a lovely BVP-1. Then you get the Zalochny, and they're disheartened, or reservist I should say. AT weapons, assault rifles, submachine guns, like a jack of all trades a little bit, master of none quite clearly, and they can come in the OT62B and the OT62A. The B having the tank gun, which I think is quite nice. Also, what I'm showing you is all work in progress, so yeah, I think the machine guns have the wrong symbol, right? Looks like a sniper rifle. First lead option the Velitail Zenitsu, they can come also in the EOT 64. Then the Zenitsu, Satchel Charge, 8 SMGs, quite nice, I think. 8 on the card. And the LPO version with a flamethrower. I think this is currently better, but I don't know, to be honest. But you get many more units on this card, so I personally would most likely go for the Geniste, the normal Geniste. Then you get the Velitail Motostřelecká, also not new. They come in the BMP1 or BVP1. Motostřelecká, normal unit. They have really bad AT weapons, only 7 on the card. That's what fits into the BMP, I think. And then you get one with a slightly better loadout, but it's still super crappy. If you compare them directly, the RPG 7 is obviously better, a little bit with accuracy, and also penetration 1 point. Other than that, it's the same unit, pretty much. So I think it's best to go for the better one. It also has 6 heat rounds, but I guess you end up taking both potentially. And they come both in a BMP, so that's actually quite nice. Look at that with your tank gun. I mean, it's a tank gun, which is a bit not as good as an autocannon, I think, but still quite nice. Then you get the recoilless rifle here. They will get buffed with high accuracy, I think. Well, this one didn't, I think, or did go up from 30 to 35. I'm not quite sure. Then you get the faggot, you get the concourse, which is new, but it's obviously only new for the tracks. Then you get the Velitail Poranitnikli, and that's your lead option. And it's actually quite interesting because, I mean, the loadout is decent for mid-range fights. 8-man strong is not bad at all. And they come with military police, security, leader obviously, and mountaineer trait, which means they have no movement penalty in difficult terrain, so like in forests basically. So in particular, if they want to retreat, this is quite nice. And the Poranitsi are also mountaineers with military police. And I mean, they look like a border guard kind of. Sniper rifle, AT capability, security trait, so optics goes up to good. I think this is a really interesting unit. And so far, I'd say my favorite from what we've seen so far. Then you get the Velitail Stealthy, already known. They do have smokes with the leaders. Then you get a lot of Stealthy cards, 3. They come in the OT 64C, which I think has, no anti-tank gun, no, well, 2 machine guns. And the Kulo Metichi, which is, I think, another new unit. And with 3 LMGs. So it's basically an LMG squad. So this is really, really cool. This I think is really nice. Very, very solid infantry deck. I think it lacks a bit in AT capabilities because most of the AT, but for the Strelitsy, but you will get a lot, is pretty shy. You get infantry fighting vehicles, but unfortunately only with a tank gun, but still quite good against other IFVs, not as good against infantry. I think this is a really good infantry tab. I mean, obviously no forward deployment, that sucks a bit. Other than that, it's pretty good. Now let's move on to the artillery tab. So huge selection of stuff and a bit of new stuff as well, I think. So we get mortars. They can come in an IF3, which is nice, so you can move them around. You get 120 mil howitzer, and then you get a new unit in the M46 howitzer. but it's in some of the East German divisions, I think. But yeah, 2.57 doesn't really cut it. If you listen to, I think, Icarus's guide, you should have at least like, I think, 3 damage, but it's got a fantastic range, so this is actually quite good because then accuracy won't fall down that hard, and the price is quite cheap. It might be an option to use for counter battery. Aiming and reload take a bit, but I think it could be an option because the price is actually quite affordable. And you have a lot of slots. Then you get the 2S1 120 mil, already known. Howitzer, it can be used against tanks as well if need be, and if they don't get one-shotted. So quite nice. And you get the Dana, already known, which is a really, really good artillery piece. Here you see the damage output is quite substantial with 3.34, also good range, tank gun, heavy machine gun. This is a fantastic unit, and it might be worthwhile bringing a lot of them. So this would make the division actually quite the good team game division already if you wanted to artillery spam. Then you get the IMVZ 51 multiple rocket launcher, quite a cheap one, and the 70 version, the difference being much better range on this one, and yeah, less rockets and a bit less damage. So depending what you want. I mean, both units are not new, but this could help your infantry break into towns as well if you just suppress the enemy a little bit. So I think even when supply cost is enormous, so it might not be worthwhile in 1v1, to be honest. Tank tab. Quickly go through my notes as well. Okay, there we go. So the slots are really terrible, I think. You get a tank gun only against well, it doesn't have a rocket attached, which is a bit of a shame. And you get this tank gun, which can also be used as a howitzer, so like an F-22, for example, in Steel Division 2. And the penetration is actually quite nice with 16. Accuracy is the same. I think this can be a really nice and interesting unit for this division. You get the Malajutka vehicle. It has good stealth, which is quite nice. You could upvet it, but yeah, I think rather don't. Then you get the T-54B. I don't think there are any new tanks in this tab. So bad frontal armor, bad penetration, cheap price. This is like a T-55 division, but you also get T-71s, which is quite T-72s, which is quite nice. You get a mid-range of tanks with the T-55, so 14-14. They have smoke as well. This one doesn't. Good range, and the AM2B also has smoke. It's only in this division, but I think that's because it's just not in the other Czech divisions, but it's available in other divisions, I think. And then you get the T-72 line, which is going to be your most precious tank with 17 armor and 19 penetration. They don't have rockets, so maybe combine them, like if one of these, and a leader to go with them. I think that's quite interesting, but you have to bear in mind you hardly have any slots, so it will be quite tough. In the Recon tab is another good tab. We get the Vector vehicle with SIGINT. So this is like the 3rd division with a SIGINT vehicle. Then you get the OT-65 RL and the A Vidra version with a tank gun. So this is like the non-fighting version, and then you get the fighting version, which actually has better availability. Possibly keep it unvetted because it doesn't really do that much for you. Then you get the SRN Is that new? I think it's new, right? It doesn't pop up here. I think this is a new version. Again, it's like a border guard kind of with military police and mountaineer trait, which is really nice. No AT capabilities, but other than that, it looks really, really good. And then something that's really nice to have is a proper forward deployment. You might want to take them, even though it's only 2 dudes. But this might be helpful to get them into position early on, also to help out, for your artillery, so that they hit better. And they have exceptional stealth as well. They all have. Okay. And very good optics. Is there anyone with GSR? They have exceptional optics, actually. They only have good optics. But this one with exceptional optics, that's actually quite cool to go along with your tanks. So that's something to bear in mind. Then you get the Genjini Kuchikumi, already known. They are basically like a CQC squad. So that's actually also a very nice option. Could free up some space in the infantry tab as well if you use them instead of pioneers. You get the motorized Pushkuni, and they come in a BMP with good optics, anti-tank missile. So this is definitely really, really nice. Then you get the Chapaz, and yeah, they can come in a helicopter that can't fight. AT capabilities, sniper rifle, yeah, well, shock, commando, but I don't think they are too great. I think I'd go for some other options first, I guess. Then you get a Recon helicopter, which is always nice to have, 8 health. You get the BPZ Svatana. BPZV Svatana. Exceptional optics, again, and an anti-tank missile. Anti-tank gun, so this is quite fantastic with the range. And then you get the RT Buscher, another special unit. They have GSR, so their optics go up to exceptional, and I think this is probably making them worthwhile taking. You can bring them in a helicopter if you want to get them in position early. Other than that, just take this one and move them around carefully. So really nice options here in the Recon squad. Even though only like the border patrol unit here is new, I think this is a really good tab. AA, you get 3 cards of Strelas, no E-Glass unfortunately. You get this AA gun, but they are now shittier against infantry, they get nerfed. Then you get this AA gun on the truck. You get, which I think is new. Then you get the Resteka 30mm, another AA gun. And you get 2 cards of Coups, so that's actually quite nice. 9 damage, I mean you need to hit, but yeah, 3 on the card. This is, or 4 on the card actually. So this is actually quite nice, I think. Yeah, not too bad. Helicopter tab is pretty bad, or not much choice, and it gets expensive quickly. You get an AT GM missile here. Or you can go for the air-to-ground rockets without a rotary cannon. Presumably, I take this just to help out against IFV pushes potentially, and other lighter units, other infantry with the rotary cannon. I think that's and you get 5 on the card instead of just 2. They are super squishy. They only have 4 health though, which is a huge problem because already the Strela makes 4 health, so they go down to everything. But still, I think that's an interesting option. The air tab, I think there's nothing new in it. You get a MiG-21 M8 as your first AA option, basically a shotgun fighter with 4 rockets, but only 2 of them against helicopters actually. Yeah, so yeah, well, it's not the best of all fighters. The other fighter option is the MiG-23 MLA, which has 4 rockets against helicopters and also more range against aircraft, and it's got 6 rockets in total. You get less on the card. It's only 10 points more. Survivability is a little bit higher with 10 health, so it can take 2 Strela hits, for example. And you get, obviously, you get more range and you get more rockets. Even though your 4 short-range rockets only do 4 damage, but I think this is the better one. Even though, let me check, optics is the same. Speed, ECM is the same. Yeah, I would go for the MiG-23. The Su-7BKL-HE bomber. I think it's not new. I think it's under a different name in other divisions. Unguided bombs could be good. I'm not sure how they drop. Quite fast. A little bit of ECM, 10 health. You get a rocket variant, which is quite a bit cheaper. But it's then again only rockets. But this seems to be a dive bomber because of the 150-meter range. So it might be interesting to go for the rockets for an affordable price to take out individual ATGM squads potentially. Then you get an AT plane, which also has air-to-air capabilities. You get a seed plane with good anti-radiation missiles, 4 in total. So this could be an interesting option, even though top players will switch off their AA or their radar. You get a cluster bomber, a really nice one. Also 30. The seaplane actually has 40% ECM, which is quite nice. The Su-22s have, other than that, they have 30% ECM, which is also not too bad. Then you get the this seems to be a dive bomber as well. You get the napalm bomber and the KMGU bomber. That has a bit more range, and it's basically cluster against infantry with bomblets. Maybe worthwhile trying it out. It's quite expensive though. Yeah, so that's the division. As you can see, not that many new units, but the composition is interesting and nice. And personally, I think my highlight unit are the border troops. But which border troops? These or these? Where are they? Just 1 second. There they are. The SRN. They also have military police. 10-man strong, which is really good. But I think my favorite unit is the Poranitsi, because they have such a variety of capabilities and can really protect your flanks. So I go for them. And they can bring that with them and take out helicopters if need be, unless their vehicle gets taken out first. Let me know what you think of the division. Stay tuned for more content, in particular also WARNO content. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Until then, bye for now.